Underground radio.
What does it mean to be underground? It means you gotta be free to be underground. Yo, you got your own key when you're underground. If you're listening to me, yo, you underground.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Connected with Cari here on Just TV, Just FM. We are live streaming through the Underground Radio C Facebook page and the YouTube channel. YouTube channel is fairly new on my end, only because I have 6 years of content, and I was like, what do I even start with? What do I put on here? And multiple shows, as you know. I've had Culture Connection over the years. I've got the Shift Happens show, which actually going to start up here in a couple of weeks with Dina and myself. We have been busy at the start of this year. So yes, we're going to be going into season 7 with that. This is season 12 of Connected with Cari. Now this is also episode 3. So there's been a little bit of a break in between, only because I was away with, I did a surgery in the past couple of weeks. So I'm back, ready for action. You're going to see more of me, of course, now that, you know, I'm on the mend, which is great. So glad to see everyone here. I know I haven't been posting a lot, but that's cool. It's all good. So you probably did see this stream, and you kind of, or the post for this stream, and you know who my guest will be. If you didn't see my post up on who my guest is, well, you're in for a treat, because a couple of weeks ago I had on the infamous Teddy Hart, and it's kind of a little bit of a mix in with that. So if you will join me in welcoming, also I just want to really quickly say NCD Television Network in Italy is also tuning in. So those of you over in Italy, good morning. I know it's Sunday morning over there, bright and early. I hope you guys enjoyed the Olympics over there. I thought that was pretty cool. Watched a few events, of course, cheered on Team Canada. That was awesome. But I also like cheering on Team USA, because it's such a rivalry when it comes to any type of a sport. It's kind of like, you know, your sibling type of, like, well, we're Calgary, so I like to, you know, when Edmonton plays Calgary, it's because we're in the same province. It's always fun to watch and cheer on, you know, your favorite team, and then kind of heckle the rivalry team. So that's kind of what it was like with Calgary, or with USA and Canada. And of course, we were up really early. Whereas this show, you guys in Italy are up early watching me. So I appreciate you guys and all of my support hanging in there. And also those that send me get well wishes. Thank you as well. I appreciate that. So without further ado, I will welcome my guest in. Welcome to the show.
Cheers, swamp donkeys.
Charles.
I'll do it for you, because I do it very well. Cheers, swamp donkeys. It is I, your supreme gay icon, el rey de reinas, the fabulous KiKi Roberts.
In the house. Look at that. Welcome.
We're going to have fun.
Yeah. And one thing about, you know, posting up content is sometimes people just like to, you know, scroll. They're going through, and my posters will, you know, catch everyone's attention, but they won't necessarily read the whole post. So they didn't necessarily read the bio that you sent me. So I'm going to have you introduce yourself, even though you are the fabulous KiKi Roberts. But please introduce yourself formally, and we'll get into, you know, a little bit about not just yourself, but we want to know also how you got into the career of wrestling, what drew you to that. But we'll just kind of start with the intro. So with that, take it away, my dear.
As I stated, I am the supreme gay icon. I am the representation that this community has been lacking. I bring professionalism, I bring beauty, and I bring masculinity to the community. I've been out here in San Francisco, but as an international performer, I'm all over. I'm in Mexico. As you know, I'm going to be back in Canada in March 6th, which is this coming Friday. So I'm going to be there very shortly. And I'm also in the United States. So I travel to these other countries just to give great representation, not only to my country, but to my country.
Your big country.
Yeah, the biggest country out there, the strongest, the best country. Everybody knows it.
Everyone knows it. Well, you know, I like to represent Canada too, but that's okay. It's all good. So without each other's countries, we can't, go and travel really closely and do all the fun things and, have the cross promotion of doing these radio shows and stuff. So it's really, I really enjoy it. So can you tell me a little bit about, like I said, I would love to know why there was an interest in going into wrestling. What was the big maybe aha moment, or maybe it was someone's costume that was like, oh, I want to dress like that. Tell us like all the little juicy details.
I wish it could be very juicy, but honestly, it was just a want to do a sport. I actually was just at a point where I was doing all of this physical activity at the gym and consistently going to the gym and getting stronger and lifting heavier and all this. And I was like, I need a purpose of why I'm doing this, right? I was working as a banker for one of the banks here, Wells Fargo. And I was like, I need a purpose. So I need a sport to play that'll apply all of this that I'm doing at the gym. And I was like, I've always loved wrestling. And I remember standing inside the gym one day and watching TV and watching, I believe it was SmackDown. I just remember that it being Ryback coming to the aid of Jim Ross. There was no audio. I didn't know anything that was being said, but I could just see the theatrics of everything that was going on. And I was like, yeah, that's where I need to be. And little did you know it, a girl that I was working with was dating one of Devon Dudley's sons. And she was like, hey, look, $1,000, you can start wrestling at their school. And I was like, let's go. We're doing it. And I did it. And honestly, I really started doing it just to do it as a recreational sport. But once you're inside those doors and Bubba's in your head, it's another story. It's like, this is now a business. You're not doing this as luxury. You're not doing this as a fan. This is a business, and I'm always business oriented. I've always been in sales, so entertainment, sales, and then now I've got this sick addiction with this like physicality of hitting each other. All of that comes together, and here we are today. And now you have the supreme gay icon, the fabulous KiKi Roberts.
Well, I know what the feeling is like, because I also love going to the gym. And then some days you're like, yeah, why are we doing it? Other than just sort of, it's a fitness lifestyle. It's kind of what you do. But to have an actual purpose behind it truly is something, like, it's amazing to come up with that. Because like we said, I think we get into just the grind of every day of, okay, yeah, I go to work and I go to the gym and do this. And yeah, I want to look good and whatever. But to be able to extend that into more of a career, into something bigger, that you're like, I actually, love working out, and I actually want to use that as, getting into wrestling and using those skills and, pump iron, but let's use that strength for something bigger that, because I've seen, I loved watching, I can't remember the name of it now. So on Netflix right now, there's actually the whole background story of the wrestling story. Like, it's amazing. And to see each of the wrestlers come on, why they chose their names, and then their fitness journey is incredible to be able to see that. And then that's exactly what it is. It's the intertwine of like the gym, because they got to stay fit. Like, you have to stay fit in wrestling. Otherwise, you're going to have no strength to be able to lift up anyone or fight back, right? So it was really interesting to see that they, you kind of have to have that love, because you are consistently in the gym all the time, training and keeping up in shape and everything. So I commend you for just that daily grind, but also finding like the love in it and going, hey, I want to take it and use it and run with it and just go and do wrestling, which is so cool and amazing. So KiKi Roberts, is that just your stage name, or do you have a different stage name? Take us into that how you chosen.
So KiKi Roberts has been a name that I've had for my childhood. KiKi itself is my childhood name. Growing up, my cousin couldn't say my real name, so she would always call me KiKi. So everybody in my family called me KiKi. So as I got older, it was always KiKi. Then when I was in college, I started doing drag actually. And I was like, you know what? I need a drag name for college. So I was like, I'm just going to use KiKi. That's going to be my drag name. And the Roberts is my mother's maiden name. So I was like, that's it, KiKi Roberts. Well, when I stopped doing that lifestyle and then I started doing wrestling, I was thinking, I was like, oh, I want another name. And I was leaning towards like Johnny Gemini. I had a nickname as Johnny in college. And I was like, and I'm a Gemini. That's why I have the Gemini on. But I was like, Johnny Gemini. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. But you know what? I already have this KiKi Roberts. KiKi Roberts is really kick-ass. So I'm just going to take that and ride with that. I'm already comfortable with it. I already know how to sign it. I already know how to exploit it. It works. It's different. Nobody else in wrestling is using the name KiKi. There's other Johnnies out there. So, and the Johnny Gemini is cool, but it's not as cool as KiKi Roberts. So.
No, it's so unique and so personable, and just actually it was really funny. Ali Farhat, he had commented on one of our posts. Now, for those of you who don't know, Ali Farhat, he runs one of the wrestling schools here in Calgary, but he had commented, I think it said hashtag KiKi something, and it was funny because I was like, oh yeah, it's a KiKi with KiKi.
Yes, exactly.
Right, because nowadays KiKi means to have a chat, to talk, and do it up for those of you that don't know the terminology of KiKi. So yeah. I thought that was kind of cute. I was like, yeah, totally suits you, which was so fun. I want to get into a little bit of, maybe like the struggles of being a gay man going into wrestling. Was there any type of a struggle with that? Even maybe in school and going, okay, did you step into that? Take us a little bit through that. I know it's a loaded question, but take us through, it could have been awesome right from the start, or it could have been a struggle. So let's hear the story on that end.
So here's my thing, just kind of general in life. I never will ever accept, even if you tell me, oh, it's because you're gay, that's why you're not going to get that opportunity. I'm never going to accept that. I'm always going to rely on my abilities. And if I don't achieve something, it's on my abilities. It's not because of my skin color. It's not because of my eye color. It's not because of my sexuality. It's none of that. It's because of my abilities. I will succeed and overachieve any characteristic that I have with my abilities. So coming into wrestling, I never once thought, oh my God, I'm going to be out of place because I'm gay, or it was never even a question on my mind. The confidence that I have within myself, it was like, all right, being gay is just kind of who I am. And it really was never going to be an attribute of who I am. I got to this road later in my career. When I first started, it was always, and I've always been like, even before wrestling, I always had a motto that the clothes don't make me look good. I make the clothes look good. So that was always an idea that I've always had growing up. I've always had self-confidence in myself. I've never, and it might sound cocky or conceited, but I think a lot of people need to have that more than being told that they have beauty. They need to start resonating it within themselves and realizing it within themselves. And I've realize that. Do I think that every moment I always look my best? No, I always want my best to be better. That's another thing. Like, I always know that I could be better at anything that I do. So when I got into this business, it was always going to be, I was going to be the most beautiful guy, the most attractive person out there. And it really was not even gender specific of who I was going to be attracted to, because I'm so goddamn gorgeous that no matter what your sexuality is, whatever your gender is, you're going to be attracted to this face. I mean, come on, look at this face. Let's be honest, right? So getting in, it was just going to be about that. And then as I was training, and so I'm trained by Billy Gunn, Bubba Ray Dudley, and Devon Dudley. And so earlier on in my career, I was very much more attention oriented with Billy Gunn. And so I was going through it, and he was like, you got to be more gay. And I was like, really? I got to be more gay? And for me, honestly, as a man, as a gay man, like being a feminine is just not of my nature. Like I'm more of a, like, honestly, this last like 2 weeks, I've been demolitioning my house. I've been remodeling my bathroom. So I'm over here knocking down walls. I've got saws. I'm over here chopping away at cement, laying down floors, laying down tile, putting up tiles falling on my head. Like I'm not dainty by no means necessary. I'm not over here like, oh, I don't know if I can get my nails dirty. I basically like tear my hands up. I've got rough hands. Like for me, that's not the lifestyle. So for someone to be like, all right, you got to be just a little bit more feminine. I'm like, all right, well, let's try this. So being more effeminate or being more gay was actually a struggle for me. That was a struggle. Like, oh, you have to be this. I'm like, all right, well, let's do it. So little by little, I would do it. And he was like, more. I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to do it. So I would just start studying people like Adrian Adonis, or I would start studying Gorgeous George and people who are not even gay, or just that had that feminine character to them, right? I would study Goldust, and I'm like, all right, I got to build in those characteristics into my character and be more gay. But that was never really my like guidelines until COVID happened. And so when I first started, I was in a tag team, and so I was the coach, and I was with this heavyset guy that always wanted to be a cruiserweight. So my job was to motivate him to lose weight, right? And there was like the mention that I was gay, just to cater to that community and get that community's attention along with me, because the wrestling community is going to show up. I need to get other people to show up outside of the wrestling community. So what is my interest communities? Well, gay people, the LGBTQ community. That's my community that I have to bring my attention to draw them in, because I don't need to cater to the wrestling company, the wrestling community. They're already showing up. They're already buying the tickets. I need the people that are not buying the tickets to come in and get hooked and stay. Right. So that was where my whole thing was. So I'll cater to them. But then later on, when COVID happened, I was like, I need a gear change. I need to start being a different person. I need to start leaning into a better representation. And I need to be, in wrestling's eyes, I need to be the bad guy. So I need to be the bad guy. How do I be the bad guy? Because so often in wrestling, the gay man is always the sympathetic one. Everybody always has sympathy for the gay person. So the gay person's always going to be the good guy. No matter what, it's always going to be the underdog. That's not going to be the case with me. I don't care if I'm gay. You are going to see my dominance shine light here, and I'm going to correct everything that all of those sympathetic gays can't achieve without your cheers. And that's where I've become within this. I know that was long-winded, but that's where we are today.
Long-winded answers are very welcome here. Trust me. It's interesting to see because, you know, confidence, like you said, is everything. It doesn't matter, you know, if you're gay or not. It is totally a thing where you need to be able to own who you are regardless. So, and when to be able to step on to the ring or in the ring, you know, it's not just a ring. It's also a stage. So you guys are also performers when it comes to wrestling. You're not just fighting someone, you're also performing. So that's why you guys have your characters. So you need to be able to step into a ring and go, hey, this is who I am. Even though you're playing a little bit of a character, it's still you up on that stage. And you need to be able to own it within your skin and go, hey, I am great. This is me. This is who I am. And whether you're a bad guy or a good guy, it's easier to pull it off because it's who you are at that moment. And you're going, you're like, I'm comfortable with this. You need to be comfortable with this. And then it just plays out so well. I love that you're a little bit of a villain. It's like the evil, you know.
It's more fun that way.
Yeah, right? Because you see all these like different TV shows, and that's exactly what you said. You know, they pull off going, oh, the gay guy is, you know, he's like the guy next door. And everyone loves him and he should be accepted. I think nowadays it's not even a question of acceptance anymore because everyone is so different and we accept everyone. So it's not even a question of that. But to accept it as like a villain is even better. Like, I love that.
Yeah,
So,
of course. And
right?
trust me, there's a lot of shady people in this community that you think are the good guys, but let me tell you the truth, they're really not. And I'm honestly, I don't know if you've seen The Riddler, the Batman movie where it's the Riddler, right? But
Mhm.
I resonated with that so strong where he was like, you guys like this guy, the Batman, but the Batman, no one ever asked him to come and save these people. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to expose all your good guys for all the negative things that do him behind your back that make you think that he's the good guy. And that's kind of where I'm at in this like journey with my character, because everybody's here like, yeah, we celebrate the gays. We celebrate the gays. Well, you don't live in my community. You don't see all of the nasty faces that live within this community, and you praise them on and on and on and on. But there's a lot of nastiness that's going on here. And at the end of the day, there also has to be an adversary for all of those good guy gay people within the community to have a personal rivalry with. They could not have a personal rivalry with a straight person, right? We could have that personal rivalry that no other gay person could have with a straight person. No other straight person can belittle another gay man for their homosexuality, but another homosexual can get on another homosexual and there's safe ground with that, right?
Yeah.
And then his comeuppance has reasoning, right? The other one is too touchy of a subject. But I allow those people who need to be sympathetic, who need to be the overcomers, I give them a platform to actually be strong in front of.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that where you say it is. It's like you can pick on your own people and really dig in and go, hey, like this is what's going on, and you need to support me or kind of step off, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I see it. So good for you, because you do, regardless of who we are, we need to stand our ground and what we're doing and what we stand up for. I think that's truly important, regardless of what you're doing. So I again commend you on that. And it takes not just guts, but it takes the confidence as well to go, hey, this is who I am, standing in my own ground, and don't even step on me, like step on. Right?
Yes,
So,
of course.
absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about the costume. Has there been any costume changes over the year? What is your costume about? Let's take us through that.
It's always been a like full body half singlet, like one shoulder singlet throughout the years. But just in different variations. It's always been very bright. With my character, I always like to stick to the same color tones for recognition, right? Everybody has to be able to recognize me for the look. I'm always going to be in front of a different audience. I'm always going to be in front of a new audience, and they're going to get a taste of me at the beginning, so they got to remember something about me. And so one thing that I stick to is hot pink. Right now it's blonde, and that's because I've been in a transitioning mode. I've been really like working a lot towards my physique and all of that right now. So when I'm not really doing many shows, I'm really just like focusing in on me. I'm focusing on my body, and I just let my hair just relax for a minute because I've been destroying my head of hair for quite some time, having it pink. But normally it's bright pink, and then my costuming will be bright pink, gold, black, and white, and just in those variations. I also make all of my gear that I wear. I make all of my ring gear. I make all of my entrance gear. So anything that you've ever seen me wearing inside of the ring, with the exception of my boots, I have actually made that myself. I'm very cheap, and I'm also very picky. So if I ask somebody to do something and it doesn't get done the way I like it, and it probably won't because I'm so picky and detail oriented that I'm just not going to be happy with it. So I'd rather figure out how to do it myself, and I will do it myself. And the only person that I can yell at is myself. And then at the end of the day, I can also have the confidence to say, like, hey, that fashion garment, that piece of work that you see laying on this body, that was created by me. So everything that you see me wear, I have created, and I just kind of keep that color palette along the same. And then we're moving into a more king zone. That's why we have the crown going on. So now I am coming more of the king of queens. And that's where we're going now, a more royal, more majestic side of myself, a little bit less of the flamboyance and a little bit more of the grit and raw that really lives within me, the masculinity that I need to pull out to represent my community and let my community see, like, this is how you can be. For so long, we've had this like stereotypical image of what a gay person is supposed to be through television. And that's the only way to determine that they're gay without them saying, hey, I'm gay, right? Is to show mannerisms of femininity. Well, I need to stop that display and show them that, like, you can be more masculine. And so we're leaning more towards that.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of professional wrestlers, that we see on TV, like I said, I watched the whole, Netflix series. A lot of them make their own costumes because of exactly what you said. They want to make sure it fits, that it's the right materials, that they like the colors, and that it will get done on time for the shows. So that's, basically nothing new. But I love that you take it into your own hands and you're like, no, this is my business. I want to do it, and I want to do it right and have it that way. I also like how you said where, you're stepping into the ring and you're owning things and showing that even if you're gay doesn't necessarily mean the femininity. Like, I'm a very feminine person myself, but I love doing hands-on things. Like you said, the renovations you're doing, all that. Like, I recently fixed my dryer, like,
Likewise.
So there's nothing really wrong with, what I consider basic skill building, because I think it's important to have a variety of different skills. If you're not good with your hands, you won't be able to learn how to sew or craft things together. So you need to have, and men should learn how to sew, because if there's no one around or a store is closed, buttons fall off, or you need to fix your tie for the office next day, you can do it right then and there. You don't have to take it to a place to get fixed or wait for someone else to fix it. You can do it on your own and have the confidence your button's going to stay on.
Yeah.
So, there's nothing wrong with that. And every person out there should have a variety of different skills, because it helps you learn, gives you a different skill set, and teaches who you really are. So I think that's really cool to be able to say, yeah, I make my own stuff, and you can put your own brand into it. Like your different colors, you can play with the different colors and see what really works. Now, if you're going into the royalty kind of department of the kingship, are you going to have maybe introduce some royal colors in with your outfit?
I'm not going to change the color palette. The color palette is going to stay the same. I just think I'm going to, as I stated, like, I've been off for the last like 4 months working on my physique. So when I first started this whole journey, I was at 170 pounds. I was at 17% body fat. I'm now sitting at 149 at 9% body fat. So a lot of the reason why I wore the costuming that I wore is because it was more flattering for my body per se, okay. Right?
Yeah.
Now I have more of the physique that I would feel a lot more confident in having exposed. So now we'll probably see a little bit more body coming out as well. So, and then a little bit more dominance inside of it as well. I've also been riding this wave for about 8 years with the same kind of silhouette, let's say, and now we're going to move towards a different silhouette and see where we go with that, just to show that character change and that gear change. But we got to still keep that similarity with that character, and we still need to keep that remembrance of who that character is. So we're not going to go totally off and into another realm. We're still
Yeah.
going to keep those same tones. We're just going to redirect them.
I like that. How about a majestic cape as you come in? You know, the kingship, you know, they got a cape and the crown and they come in, and yeah, that'd be awesome.
We've got it in the works. I've actually even already have kind of like in the picture, you see that I have that like blazer. That blazer is really like flows into a cape. So I took a blazer and it has a train attached to it. So it's all right. I've already kind of started down that route. So we're just maybe gonna up it a little bit, maybe change the color to maybe a white blazer instead of black. We'll see where we go with it.
Yeah, it'll
Maybe
be a big
something with
surprise.
shoulders that deattaches. I've got some ideas just floating out there that I just gotta throw some fabric together and we just start playing. I just start pinning things together. I'm like, all right, I like that. Or I'll start building things. I'm like, I don't know about that. I'll move that out, put something else in. All right, here we go. This is what I want now. Or
Right.
maybe I'll just get lazy and I'm like, I like it this way. This is easier. And it comes out perfectly fine.
Right. And you took no fashion school. This is just on your own.
Yeah, just on my own. Like I said, I used to do drag, so I used to also create my garments for drag as well too. I wanted to be different, and a lot of people that will do the costuming for others is so expensive. And in wrestling, I've heard so many horror stories of people not getting their gear on time or not getting it the way they wanted or never even getting it at all. So I'm fully in control of when I get mine or don't get it.
Yeah, that would be such a nightmare to be able to go and, you're on stage the next day and you have nothing. And it's like, I don't know, I'd freak out.
Yeah, I have so many outfits because I hate, first of all, if I have more than one match a night, I'm not going to wear the same outfit that whole night. Like if I have 2 or 3 matches a night, I'm changing into 3 different outfits that night. I'm not going to wear the same outfit every single night. It's just that little unique detail is something that I took from Macho Man. If you watch Macho Man in WrestleMania 5, there was a tournament and he had 3 different matches, and every time that he came out to the ring was a different outfit. So I try and not only incorporate things like that, but I also try and grab outfits from people. I have gear that I emulated from Bam Bam Bigelow. I thought Bam Bam Bigelow was one of the biggest guys out there. And I said, you know what? I'm going to make my version of Bam Bam Bigelow's gear and I'm going to wear it. And it's become like one of my favorite pieces of gear to wear.
I love that. I love watching too, because I've been my boyfriend got me into wrestling, so it's been over the past few years that we've been watching. And what I do notice is when there's a big event, actually it's almost every single different match, there's always a different type of costume that goes with it. But even like the bigger ones, like you get your SmackDown or you get the WrestleMania, like whatever, like bigger events, then or like Money in the Bank, then they have like something that kind of matches that type of event. And then the ones that did in Vegas, and so it was a little more flashier. And so I like that. I like the uniqueness and the personality, and then it's like their style, but in like those different colors. So it's really neat. So when you expect to watch a match, it's not always the same. Like you kind of know who the wrestler is, but it's like, oh, what are they going to wear? What are their colors? And it gets you a little bit more excited to see them come on. And then they, shine it and they flash their outfits. And you're like, wow, it's kind of like majestic in the moment, right? So
yes,
it'd be cool to see. So I guess we're going to be seeing you on Friday.
That's correct.
In all your glory.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about the match coming up, because that's also what I want to do real quick before we close out, is tell us a little bit about the event on Friday.
So it's going to be this Friday, IPW. It's a rebirth of the company. I originally started out in Calgary. This is going to be my return. And I probably haven't been to Calgary in I'd say maybe a year and a half. It's been a little bit since I've been to Calgary. I've been doing a lot more work in Mexico, and then I was doing some work, and I continue to do work in Vancouver. But I'm returning back to Calgary for this event. And the owner, Stacey Angel, is really the person that got behind the KiKi Roberts character in its infancy. And I really do owe a lot to her for allowing me to come to Calgary, because at that time, this character was so brand new. And she just invested in me, and she supported me, and she gave me that stage to be on top of. And I, going out there, knew that as much as I needed to work for me, I needed to work for her in order for us to be successful. I can't be successful without her, and she can't be successful without me. So we got to do this together. And I'm the one that's going out there that's got to bring the people back. She can get the building, but I got to make those people want to stay in the building and come back to the building. And that's what we're going to do this Friday in Calgary. I'm looking forward to coming back because Stacey has set the stage already. She's already out a few shows already, and she's already got the interest out there. So this Friday is going to be explosive, and I'm going to be in the main event, and it's just going to be, you know what? I feel sorry for anybody that doesn't even have a ticket or doesn't even take the time to buy a ticket. Because first of all, you get to be in my presence. Just my presence alone, being inside the ring, being inside that building, just my energy alone is enough to show up, regardless of what I do inside of that ring. So this Friday is going to be epic. And it's just going to be the beginning of everything to start.
And of course, yours truly will be there as well. So 2 fabulous people in one room. How about that?
Hello.
Hello.
They better
Soak
have
it
the
all in,
doors
guys.
open.
Right? Wide open, because, you know, royalty will be stepping through those doors.
That's right.
Well, Stacey put up a little comment, and she was saying that she loves you all the way. So there you go. She's watching. With that, yeah, make sure you guys do get your tickets. I'm going to post up as well, probably tomorrow, the event, and then kind of sporadically through the week as well. So you guys can get your tickets. And then, of course, on social media, just kind of go through and look around. But they're going to be floating through, so it'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, maybe I'll even put the link up maybe at the bottom of the shows here. So probably do that as well. Get your tickets, because they will sell out fast. The last event, I was also there. It was amazing. It was so fun. The crowd was just going. It was epic. It was like tables were being thrown everywhere.
Insanity.
It was a riot. Like, it was just so much fun. And it, like I said, I've been watching it on TV, but to be in person at a wrestling event, like, it doesn't compare. It's just, it was a riot. Like, it was so much fun. So, and then, yeah, like, it sold out within days. So it was like, get your ticket, go have fun, just sit down and enjoy it. And also the community there, it's in like a little legion. It's wonderfully and beautifully set up. Ali Farhat, he is going to be the ring, I call him ringleader. He's going to be commentating. He'll be there. He's amazing too. He used to be also a wrestler, the beast from the Middle East, if you will. So you're in good hands. He takes you right through it. He's amazing. Stacey will be there as well. Of course, myself and Rashi will be there, all of us. So it's going to be a blast. Make sure you guys do come and get there a little bit early as well. I think doors open at 6 and then the event starts at 7. Could be 6:30. I'll have to check that. But yeah, by all means. So KiKi will be there. Maybe you'll do some autographs. Maybe you'll sign some shirts, some backs, some arms.
I'll be there. I'll
Whatever.
be there. As soon as those doors open, my face is going to be there. It has to be. Because those people that are walking by that didn't even intend on buying tickets will pop their head in and be like, what's going on over there? And then they're going to see my face and they're going to come in regardless. So
Right.
I don't know if they're going to be able to get in because it'll probably be sold out if it's not already sold out. I know that Stacey has mentioned that we're like close. Like, I don't know, maybe like 40 tickets maybe close from selling out. So...
Yeah, but then
And
I
it could
think
be
they
less than
do
that by
have,
now.
yeah, and then I think they're gonna have a few tickets at the door just in case. But you're still gonna have to get there and make sure like you get in because you want to be in Kiki's, presence. You got to be there. So thank you, Kiki, for your time. I will see you on Friday. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. It'll be a lot of fun and be in your big royalty presence. So make sure that you do have a safe flight, or if you're driving up, probably flying up, have a safe flight, and we'll see you on Friday.
Yeah, I'll do that. Cheers, Swamp Donkeys, and remember, follow the KiKi Way.
Follow the KiKi Way. Okay. Good night, Kiki. And with that, there you have another Connected with Cari here on Just TV, Just FM Underground Radio C. We are also through Just TV on YouTube, Underground Radio C on YouTube. We are live through Roku, and I forgot to mention that at the beginning, but you can download the 101 app. No, it is not a secret. Go to your Roku TV, look for the 101 app, download it because you get all of our shows live on your big screen TV. Not only that, you get all the other shows that are happening during the week. You also get to watch movies, listen to some music. So by all means, get down there, download it. It's a lot of fun. So thank you all who tuned in this evening. It was so great to be back on air. I've missed you guys, missed my audience. I will be back, but I'm also going to be back on Friday. I may or may not do a little bit of streaming of this show. We'll see. But with that, have a great evening, everyone. Make sure you stay connected. Good night.